We'll begin with the mega talented Pat Cashman. Now, Pat has worn many creative hats in his illustrious career: radio host, MC, auctioneer, but is best remembered as a cast member of King TV's late night sketch comedy show Almost Live, which is where I worked with Pat for over a decade. Now, Pat recently launched Almost Live, Still Alive, a podcast featuring interviews with the writers and performers who created the show. And we caught up via Zoom to talk about the podcast and to reminisce about them good old days.
Well, let's get to this here, Mr. Cashman. Congratulations on your podcast.
It's Almost Live. Still Alive.
It's alive. So what made you want to do Almost Live, Still Alive? Where did this idea come from?
Rather than do a round robin, which I think we have done some events and everybody's chiming in, and my idea was that I wanted to just talk to each individual person per episode. I want to hear their voices. I want to hear what their favorite bits were, what their least favorite was, what was cool, what was embarrassing. And my fundamental question, as it all comes to a crescendo, each interview, is, do you think you would be where you are now if it hadn't been for your time on Almost Live? And I'm kind of begging the question because I usually know the answer, and it's no, I don't think so. Even Bill Nye acknowledges that he wouldn't be Bill Nye the Science Guy if it hadn't started with Almost Live.
Now, you were with Almost Live from pretty much the beginning, around 1984. How did you get involved with the show?
The show actually began in 1911. It was silent in those days, and black and white, of course. And they undercranked the camera, so it looked like I was walking real fast all the time. But when it finally reached television in 1984, we call those previous years the experimental years. In 1984, it began, but I was just sort of most casually involved because I had another full-time position at the TV station where the show originated, King TV.
You did marketing?
Yes, it was in marketing. And again, I'm sorry, but that's what I did. So but you know, I'm a big comedy fan. I always was. I had this huge stack of comedy albums from Jonathan Winters to George Carlin, Robert Klein, every comedy album I had to have. And so I just couldn't help but kind of look around the corner and see what's going on down there at Almost Live, but not involved with it. It just sort of slowly evolved.
Let's see you stop this one.
They came out of the gate ablaze and then realized how hard it was to come up with comedy stuff every week. It's really hard. Pretty soon, anybody that looked like they could stick a mirror up to their nose and it was fogging up, they said, "Hey, would you like to do something on the show?" And they asked me, and so I sort of stuck my toe in the water, so it was a very gradual process for me, but I was pretty hooked.
You, by your own admission, like to do things your own way. You like creative autonomy, and yet we had to pitch your ideas to the group. So tell me about how pitch meetings were for you at Almost Live.
Well, I drug my feet. I had, for a period of time in the latter years, I had a radio career as well. So I did morning radio. So pitch meetings, when they would begin around 10 a.m., maybe something like that. So I just dawdle. I'd take my sweet time getting there. And I had that ostensible excuse. Well, I got this radio show, Bill Stainton, the producer, so I probably won't be there on time, but go ahead and start without me. And sometimes I'd hover around the corner listening. Well, I guess that's about it for this meeting. Then I'd come walking in. Hey, did I miss it? Oh, shoot. Well, and then maybe I'd turn in some copy or something. I found it excruciating. Mm-hmm. I guess the fear of rejection or not even rejection, but just a lukewarm reception. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's your idea? That's good. Well, maybe you can pull it off. Ooh. Hey, it's lunchtime. We got to go.
So yeah, those pitch meetings were a little bit, they were challenging to say the least at times.
Some people thrived on them. They loved them. That just wasn't me.
Right. Well, and the thing is, you created so many great bits.
From Gastropod Pictures. When the air shift ends, his real job begins. He's DJ Waiter.
Hi, everybody. How are you? Welcome to the restaurant. I'm your server tonight, Randy Scott. It's about 68 degrees.
And next to it, let's put a smaller window, but not too small. It's a bathroom window. Still big enough that we can look right into it.
Some of your pieces, of course, were scripted, but often your ideas were not written out, which meant that a lot of the dialogue or most of it was improvised. Plumber is a great example of that. So how did you approach collaboration on the show when you had an idea, but it wasn't perfectly fleshed out?
Tonight's episode, plunge into fear.
I love bringing other people in. I guess a natural collaborator. Whether you're making a piece of pottery or a TV sketch, it's going to be better because other people were invested in it, working.
Look, you can stay out here, and you can whine, and you can cry, and you can blubber like a baby. Okay. Or you can get in there and help me unclog that sink. What's it gonna be, Billy?
What, can't I just stay out here for this one job?
Yeah, you can stay out here for this job. And then what's it gonna be next time, Billy Piper? Some leaky faucet? Or a broken washer? Or maybe some crumbling caulking around the tub? What's it gonna be, Billy?
Now, as you say that, I don't remember that I didn't have things scripted. I thought I was really well prepared, but
No, you weren't at all.
No, I wasn't. The only thing I ever really am proudest of, can I tell you what it is?
Absolutely.
Okay, here it is. It was your bit.
I've got a clear shot. Are you sure? I'm positive.
It was a guy that was the cross-eyed cop. Do you remember that?
Harvey Kane, the cross-eyed cop.
Yes.
Oh, damn it.
And you said, the only thing is I don't have an ending for it. And so, and maybe you remember it differently, but I said, why don't we have him fall off a building at the end of the bit? And when he wakes up, his eyes will be straight.
Yes.
And then we closed with the title, Harvey Kane Cop. It didn't say cross-eyed anymore. Yeah.
Yes, that's right.
It was a dumb ending, but it got us out of it.
It was the perfect ending. I mean, that's like the perfect capper. It takes it one more step, you know?
And it was another one of those bits where we were able to throw a dummy off the roof of King TV, which we did countless times. You think you'd only have to do it once, right? Because a dummy's a dummy, but no, we did it all the time. That's the kind of reckless show it was.
Yep.
And maybe we were in our 20s and 30s, but it really was a show being done by a bunch of kids.
Absolutely.
You know,
Yep. And it was a beloved show. A lot of people did know about it, so we were able to get away with a lot. Like when we shut down I-5 to shoot a jet guy, they gave us permission to shut down the freeway. I mean, what can you say?
If you ask most casual people on the street, name one bit of your favorite bits, they'll inevitably say jet guy.
Jet guy.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite Almost Live bit?
Well, the one I get the most comment on is called Roscoe's Oriental Rug Emporium.
At Roscoe's Oriental Rug Emporium, we're saying goodbye. We're closing our store forever.
It was just an observation. I'm walking through Pike Place Market, and I look, how come these rug places are always closing, but then I come back a year later and they're still there, but they say they're about to close. And that's all there was to the premise.
Real deal this time. We're hitting the bricks, gonna mosey, gonna sashay, gonna clear out, vamoose, saying adios, ciao, Wiedersehen, sayonara, au revoir, hasta luego, Godspeed, until we meet again, which we won't, because Roscoe's Oriental Rug Emporium is closing forever. We're never coming.
So Almost Live, it ran for, I think it was 15 seasons and won over 100, I'm sure, Emmy Awards, local Emmys. Why do you think the show had such staying power and still does, is still very fondly thought of?
First of all, there was no other show like it. We weren't competing with another local sketch comedy show, so there was that. And this show was brought back from like Lazarus more than once. I mean, it was so imminently going to be canceled that it was frightening. And it happened again and again and again. And it took a long time to find its footing and to find its audience.
Yeah.
And then it sort of emboldened the people that were on the show to write better, to perform better.
Here at the Ballard Driving Academy.
And it is of course, the localness of the show that made it popular to Seattle people, because it was their show.
Welcome to the Ballard Driving Academy.
Thank you.
All right, now before we start, please adjust your seatbelt. Okay, good.
Well, Pat, I'm so glad that you've made this podcast. It really is fun to hear everyone's memories of the show, and it's very pleasing to remember that magical time. I feel so lucky to have been part of it. So I'm really...
Me too. And it's a chance for me putting these together, and hopefully for people listening to relive it all again. Was it a perfect show? Yes, actually, yes, it was. But no, it wasn't. You know, you only remember the hits you got and not all the times you strike out. But
yeah,
on balance, I'd say the batting average was pretty good, especially in its latter years.
I completely agree, and I'm with you. Was it perfect? No, there was plenty of bad stuff for sure, and I wrote my share of that. That said, there was enough good, right? So it's, you're just throwing all sorts of spaghetti at the wall and enough.
Yeah. So maybe 100 bits are lousy, but one is good.
Yeah, that's not bad.
That's something to aim for, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, thanks, Patrick.
Thank you, Nance.
See you.
Closing forever. Any day now. Could be a matter of weeks, days, maybe tomorrow. But then, that's it. Roscoe's Oriental Rug Emporium. Going out of business since 1957.
Check out Pat's Almost Live, Still Alive podcast at almostlivestillalive.com.